Hey, my name is Deborah Winters. Welcome to my YouTube channel, a place where you will hear conversations with ordinary people telling their extraordinary stories. Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel, Their Stories. Our guest this is part 2 of Tim's story, and last week was amazing. So we stopped at, you were in the hospital, you had surgery, so let's pick up from there.
So I quit drinking, basically. I got to the point of drinking was no longer an option. I was either going to die or quit drinking. So I quit drinking, and it wasn't as easy as I thought. As far as I didn't believe that it was going to be that easy. But most of the time, after a certain amount, you quit an addiction. After a certain amount of time, it gets a little easier on you. So it didn't, though. My mind was going in every direction, and it wouldn't stop. So I turned to another alternative. I ended up actually started doing methamphetamines, and it was.
How did that happen? Can you say? You don't have to say.
Well,
just someone introduced you.
Somebody introduced me. Someone very close to me introduced me to it, and
you were living with that person.
I ended up going to live with my ex-wife. When I quit drinking, I lived with my dad's, and then I'm going to live with my ex-wife just to help her out with the 3 girls. While she worked, I was helping take care of them. I was too sick to go to work. I was on disability, and I was taking care of the girls. But that's when I started slowly getting on, started doing drugs, and then I had to leave there, and I went and go stay with somebody else, and they sold it.
And you didn't know they sold it?
No, I didn't.
And that was a shock.
Well, that was what made it worse for me, because it was very easily available.
Yeah. Wow.
I just opened up my bedroom door, and it was coming out of the next door. So wow. I jumped in that pretty hard and heavy, and I just started a whole new addiction. Wow. Completely new addiction. And the thing about that is it's poison.
Yeah. Don't they say once you go down that road, it's hard to get off?
Well, any addiction can be very, very difficult to get off of. The devil attacks our minds in a lot of different ways. Some addictions may seem less extreme than others, but the devil doesn't really care about levels of extremeness. He attacks your mind all the same. Mm-hmm. What might be a problem for you might not be a problem for me, and so forth. So the devil just, he's going to come at you either way, no matter what you're on. We can get addicted to just about anything. And
so what happened?
Well, and this is kind of what's cool. So I wasn't saved yet, but I started. Before, when I was drinking, I spent all my time when I wasn't at work with alcohol in my hand. Constant. I couldn't do anything else. It didn't matter. Cutting the grass, everything. I had, a drink in my hand and stuff. So now I had this massive void in my life to fill, and I started, like I was saying before, I actually accidentally got into woodworking. And it was just I was tinkering with some other stuff. And then I ended up, I made a big torch. I wanted to try it out. I liked the way, the wood grain popped on some wood. And I liked the way it looked. So I made a shelf for my daughter, and I was hooked. So I spent the next 4.5 years in a little old woodshed on drugs, messing with wood. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue.
And you were getting disability checks, so that was a way to survive, right?
Right. I was child support was getting just about all my disability.
Okay.
But I wasn't really good at paying bills, but I had enough money to pay my child support.
That was important.
So now I'm in the shed, and I'm learning woodworking. I wasn't very effective at it because my mind was going 1,000 different directions, because now I was on a drug that speeds you up and so forth.
It could be dangerous with that and a torch. I'm just saying, but go ahead.
Drugs and power tools and fire is never a good idea, ever.
Never,
for any reason.
Never, okay.
But I actually, the way it ended up playing out after that is what's really cool about, I think, all of it. I wasn't back in church, but I knew where I needed to be. And I was learning what ultimately would be, well, I'll get to that in just a minute. So about 4.5 years of doing drugs, I was bottom of the barrel. My daughter didn't look up to me. She was my friend, but I couldn't provide for her. I wasn't a rock for her. I was nothing more than someone she called dad, came over sometimes to see me, but she didn't look up to me. There's no respect, and you can, and as you know, there probably shouldn't have been. It got to where I just kept knowing if I just get back in church, if I can just get back in church.
Okay.
Because when I went as a kid, I knew I learned a lot. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the church we go to is amazing, and the Holy Spirit really.
So he was trying to get your attention.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And the thing is I knew it. It didn't matter how strung out on drugs I was. I knew it, and I just kept saying, if I can just get back in church. And it got to where I needed to, the biggest decision what got me to finally make the move was on my daughter. She's the middle of 5 girls. I ultimately needed to be a rock for her. There's just no getting around it. I needed to take up be my role as a dad, and I knew that she was. I wanted to be able to have a place for her to live, or the option of coming and staying, because she was going to be a teenager soon.
Yeah.
And so I just decided I just quit. At the time, I had a really good friend.
Quit the drugs?
I quit the drugs.
You just walked away from them?
Still living where I was at.
Okay.
I quit. And my friend was actually with me. She was my best friend. And I kind of made her quit too.
Okay.
And so we stayed in that same room, and we went through, it was hell. There's no other term. I was finally sober, but just rage. I was just getting full of rage, and just, I was so mad. I couldn't control it. I was becoming a monster to her.
So you were mad at your
know.
life was...
No, I don't know. It was just, I couldn't, my whole head was just screwed up. So after about maybe a week and a half of being there right next to it, and just turning it down, it's the same thing. If I can just get back in church, just get back in church. So it got to where we were like, we got to get away. I mean, I was working here at the time, and what's cool is because when I learned how to work with wood, she already worked for a pallet company. So they saw the stuff that I was making, and I ended up getting a job for the pallet company.
Wow.
And so I was working here.
And you were going back to this home where the drugs were...
Right.
And you were trying to stay away from the drugs.
Well, this is what I did was when I decided to quit after about a week, like I said, a week and a half maybe, I went and go stay at a hotel across the street.
Okay.
And I got my paychecks fronted to me. Well, it was supposed to be just for a weekend. I was like, we got to get out of here for a weekend.
Gotcha.
I mean, there's just so much going on there, and it just felt like this cloudy jail cell is what it felt like. So the idea was to get away for the weekend. So I went and stayed at a hotel across the street for a weekend, and it was like, I ain't going back. I came here and I got a paycheck fronted to me. So I started living there, paying a week at a time.
At the hotel?
Walking to work.
Because you had no vehicle?
Right. No license, no vehicle.
No driver's license. Did you lose your driver's license in the middle of all that?
I lost my driver's license probably back in my early 20s. I'd been without one for 12 years.
Okay.
It's just... So then things started getting kind of really bad between me and my friend. I mean, like I said, I was just getting very violent in my nature. I was getting full of rage, and I had to get away from her. And what's the thing is me and her we both went to church together. We caught an Uber to church, and it was only 2 miles, which is...
So, were you going to family worship?
Family worship. That's the coolest thing about it. It's the only church that I ever had in my mind or a spirit that I would ever go back to ended up being 2 miles from here.
And so you were Uber to church.
And then I saw it was only 2 miles. I was like, I can do it now.
You can walk.
So now I got to get away from her, and she wasn't allowed here at this warehouse.
Okay.
She wasn't allowed on the property. So, and they had already told me here that if I needed to, I can pitch a cot. And
Pitch a cot?
yeah,
What does that mean?
you know what I mean. Like if I needed a place to stay, to get on your feet, you can stay. You know, just bring your cot. There's a shower in there, and
Okay.
so it's like and that took me multiple weeks of transitioning. I was keeping the hotel room. I kept going back to my friend, but I knew I had to get away from her. I knew what
Take
I
a
was.
break.
I knew. Well, I needed to get away from her. I know. Like I was sober, but I was becoming very mean, and I was going to be in jail or something like that. And it was very clear that I needed to get away from her, but I wouldn't. I didn't want to let go because I had already let go of everything.
Yeah.
And she was my best friend. I didn't have another one. I didn't live with anybody. I didn't want to let go of that connection. You know what I mean? Like there's like, well, what am I supposed to do? You know, like at least when she's with me, I have someone who can share this with me. You know, this misery loves company type of deal. But I did start going to church, and then that became problematic because like
Went to church?
with her.
Okay.
She even chased me down in the church parking lot one time, cussing at me and all kinds of stuff. And then there was days that I would get up and go to church, and I'd walk there, and we'd have this huge fight, and then I'd just lash out on her, and then I wouldn't go to church. I'd come here, and it started to interfere with my walk with the Lord that I was trying to rebuild.
Gotcha.
And it became very problematic after several weeks. And the Lord made it very clear that I had to get rid of her. Because I couldn't even begin my walk with God while she was there. Even though I was trying to bring her with me, I was trying to get her in church with me. So now I'll come over here, and after a few weeks of kind of tossing back and forth, I didn't pay for the hotel room no more. I forced her to go back somewhere else, and now I am here.
Got it.
So I started sleeping in the hallway floor in the back bathroom.
Of the warehouse.
Right.
Where you worked. Okay.
It was so snug, but it was a wonderful bed. I mean, at first it was just a pallet. And now I really felt like I felt alone. I didn't know. I knew that if I could just keep going to church, reading my Bible, that the Lord would do his work.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I learned that as a kid. The Holy Spirit was pounded it into me. And so, but for the first couple months here, it's, my mind was still going in a lot of different directions. The devil's a liar, and, make you feel like you're stuck here. You're never going to get out of here.
You have no future.
And, look where you're at. You're on a floor in a warehouse, in a bathroom, back bathroom, and stuff like that. So at first I didn't understand how incredibly necessary it was to be here. It had to be done. I just didn't know it at the time.
Right.
And whenever you view things from that posture, you can't receive any type of growth. You can't grow at all if you're viewing it as a negative reason why you're there.
Got it.
But I kept walking to church. I read my Bible. I didn't understand what I was reading, but I was reading anyway.
Oh,
and so now I'm in the back floor, and I'm starting to understand the necessity for being here. And I'm understanding that the seclusion for being here is how I was able to get closer to the Lord.
So you were on a back floor here in this warehouse.
Absolutely.
Now, you were sleeping on a mat, or you were sleeping on a cot?
No, I was sleeping on a little roll-up, a couple blankets I rolled out on the floor.
On a cement floor.
A cement floor.
I'm looking at the cement floor. Wow.
In a hallway, in a bathroom hallway.
And did you say that was the best thing that ever?
Best thing that ever happened to me.
So, cot on the floor.
No, pallet.
A pallet, and then did you upgrade to a cot?
Eventually, I did. Once I started to realize that me being here was necessary, I was able to actually start appreciating why I was here.
Okay.
I was able to start receiving from the Lord and understand that it was a seclusion, getting away from all the junk. Mm-hmm. That is how I was able to get closer to the Lord. It's how I was able to eliminate a lot of this static. I ended up being here a lot longer than I anticipated.
How long were you here?
I was here 18 months.
I thought you said a year and a half.
And
wow. And so you ate here. So what did that look like?
it looked great.
Yes.
The Lord.
You became the master chef at slow cookers and pressure cookers. Is that what you said?
Pressure cookers, toaster ovens. There's a shower. There's a shower in the back room. But I tell you what, it got cold though. Sometimes it got cold.
On the cement floor.
Cement floors. But I tell you what, I was the happiest.
Freezing. You were happy.
The freezing happy.
That is
taking a shower. Thank you, Jesus. Because I understood why I was here.
Wow.
At first.
How long do you think it took for you in that 18 months to be happy? I'm just grateful to be here. I mean, was it like 6 months, or did it take a long time for you to realize?
It was actually a transition, a couple transitions. First couple of months, I'd say maybe 2 months, 2.5 months. It was, this is all I had.
Okay.
And then it got to where this is right. I realized this is where I needed to be.
This is all I need.
This is what I need. This is exactly what I need. And I started to recognize the growth from church and reading the Word and hanging out with people of just from the church.
Yeah.
And just for the first time that I could remember, I was hanging out with good people. And it was addicting. It was like I was finally getting addicted to something positive.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
And the Lord started moving, and He just started working. And then once I realized all that, I started to get to the point of being happy of where I was at.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was definitely progressive to get to that point. And then I was able to see. And I started actually making it around here more homely.
So how did you do that? What did you do?
The meals that I started cooking was something that you would make at home. In a real home,
I mean,
I'm here, onions and peppers and this actually became my prayer closet.
Oh, and this warehouse.
This became my prayer closet. It's this entire stretch right here, and so I turn on some music, and the Lord would walk with me.
Oh.
Some lights, it's like walking in the park. So I ended up moving into the office where the air conditioner was.
They let you move into the office here?
I ended up buying a futon mattress from a thrift store.
Okay.
And I folded up, and I built a big box, and I shoved it in there every day.
Of course you did, because you're a builder with wood.
So every morning, though, I had to make it look like nobody lived here. I had to erase everything. I mean, put everything back to normal, and it was just a normal day. They knew I was here, but because it's a business, I can't leave socks laying around, my bed out in the middle of the office and stuff.
Where did you wash your clothes?
Sometimes I didn't.
Okay.
Sometimes my mom would come and do it, and sometimes I just, sometimes it'd be a little bit.
Okay.
But I was happy.
And you just spray down some cologne or something.
Well, my mom would come do it sometimes, and
okay. We can move on.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. My church clothes, I would just try not to get those dirty.
Yeah.
And I ended up building me a closet. And
here in the warehouse?
Oh, yes, right. And
okay.
And I ended up turning it into my work shed, but
that's awesome.
Yep. So now, and then I started to realize that the different seasons in our lives, we're allowed to use them. Mm-hmm. Waiting, sometimes people can portray waiting as something you're stuck in, or boring, or uneventful, or however you want to look at it. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. But I know that everything was coming together as far as what I had learned as far as woodworking. It was starting to open up doors in a lot of areas.
That's awesome.
I was in a position, and one of the things I like to do is to share what the Lord has given me or taught me. And He taught me a lot of woodworking, different styles, and I was in a position to where I could share it. Mm-hmm. So now I started doing a lot of volunteering with the church, but now I wanted to share this very particularly with the church.
So, what? A couple of things. What about your health? Did that just? I mean, what's the story there?
Full recovery.
Full recovery.
I ended up, because I was on disability through the state, I also had Medicare, and Medicaid was actually backing Medicare, so I got really good insurance. I didn't have to pay anything.
Okay.
And before I ended up losing that, I went to the doctor to kind of get see what's going on, because I hadn't went to the doctor in a while. And they did all the blood work, they did all the tests just to see what the deal was. I explained to them where I was at, my health, and how it was. It was a big deal.
Right.
And whenever the results came back, they were like, well, usually we tell people can come back in 3 months, and it's like, I don't think we're going to see
So your
you.
pancreas was good, and your liver was good.
Everything was good.
Is that a miracle?
Everything was good. When I was sick, I was already seeing cancer surgeons at the Hollis Cancer Center.
Really?
I mean, they were planning for the worst. It was, I really took it as far as I could.
Yeah.
They were expecting to let me know I had pancreatic cancer, and you don't survive that. I mean, nobody does.
You don't. That's right.
But I had made full recovery.
That is just so awesome. Okay, so are you still driving? So back to the story. Now you're living here, eating here, showering here. So are you still walking back and forth to church?
I am. Still
so what
walking back and forth to
happened?
church.
You got a vehicle? You got your license?
Not
what
yet.
happened?
Not yet. I actually ended up starting a small group with the church first.
Okay, this woodworking group
Right.
that I came to?
Right. And so it started off very small, not that great, but I was sharing what the Lord had given me, and I felt
And that's been like a year ago, right?
a little over a year.
Okay.
And so I'm still walking to church.
Walking to church. No one comes to pick you up. You walk to church.
Well, I had got some sporadic rides.
Okay.
But ultimately, it was you rely on your own.
Yeah.
I'm mobile. I'm able. Let's go.
I'm young. Go ahead.
And so it became something that I was able to share, what I was taught, the situation that I was in. And then I ended up getting my license. So
That is so awesome.
Everything started coming together, and I was making a very small amount of money, very small amount.
Okay.
What most people can't live on at all. It's just not possible. Mm-hmm. And yet the Lord was opening doors. It goes to show all glory goes to the Lord.
Yeah.
He's the one who takes care of us.
Yes, yes.
And so
you were getting other jobs, and it was bringing in extra money. Is that what you're saying?
I'm still here, making very little money. And
Okay, go ahead.
there was he would bless me in ways that would
Okay.
allow me to step up. He couldn't give it to me all at one time. I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
If I had got my license in a truck at the beginning, I wouldn't have been stuck here
Yes.
learning and
Right.
receiving what He had for me. I'd just like, okay, let's move on. I got it from here. Thank you, Lord. I got it from here. But no, it all had to be progressive on the Lord's timing, because He knew exactly what it needed. I had to be ready for, before a license, for a truck, before I can get
Right.
one. And
So you got your license, and
got
then
my
what
license.
happened?
And then the devil started basically, oh, you got your ride. You can get you a better paying job than this.
Oh.
And I had the group going on here. I would have lost the group and everything if I went. And then whenever the devil would try to come at me like that, the Lord would bless me, saying, "Look, I take care of you.
Right.
This is where I need you." And so he
Would remind you.
because ultimately it was like, okay, Lord, I got a license now. I need a place to live. Remember, I need
transportation.
I need a room for my daughter and so forth.
Yes.
And these are everything. Just wait. So it got to the point. So I was like, oh, look, she's gonna be a teenager soon. I need to. And then ultimately they ended up coming in here and saying, look, you're gonna have to find your place to live.
Okay.
It's been 18 months and after I'm like,
Uh-huh.
so I ended up, they were like, go find a place to live, calculate what you think the bills would cost, we'll adjust your pay.
Oh,
And
wow.
so
You're going to raise. You're going to get a raise.
So the one place that I said, I only looked for one place to live in one spot, and it's in the same spot that I said I would not go.
Oh, okay.
I said I wasn't going to do it. And just wasn't going to do it. And I ended up driving by that area, and it was like a little oasis dropped in between a bad area, and bad area. It's like a little oasis. It was beautiful. Only place I stopped, they told me how much, the place had just emptied out.
Yes.
They were getting like 8 applications a week.
8 applications a week for that
Right.
property? Okay.
And it just emptied out. And so I filled it out. I found out how much it was going to be. I came back with the application. I filled it out. I did all the math, what I thought my electric, rent, and child support, all my bills, and I added it all up, and I had this big, new fat number.
New fat number, okay.
It was pretty good. And
you presented
I presented it to him and said, okay, let's do it. And I was like,
yes!
So I submitted the application, left, I went to prayer life.
Oh.
And by the time I came out of prayer life, I already had the phone call.
They accepted you.
They accepted it.
Yes!
I was like, all right, good. Let's do it.
So you had a place to go.
I had a place to go.
And you don't have a vehicle still.
No, I got a vehicle.
How did that happen?
No. I got the vehicle and my license probably 5 months before I got a place to live.
Oh,
that's why
I thought you were still walking. Okay.
That's why I was like, Devil's like, you ain't stuck no more. You can go get you a better paying job.
All right. Okay, I missed that.
And so now I got a place. It's 2 days before my daughter turned a teenager.
Okay. He
He
heard you all that time. You were calling.
Right.
I need a place. I got a daughter.
2 days before she turned 13, she was coming and staying with me.
Oh, so
And
what's your relationship like with her now?
It's restored.
Oh.
Now she's I'm all over her grades, her schoolwork.
Are you?
She's coming to me for approval on things.
Is she? Yes.
I mean, it's
now how old is she now?
13.
13. So you've had your own place for how long?
Maybe 5 months. 5 months now.
So you have a job
Mm-hmm.
with a raise. You have your driver's license. You have a vehicle, and you have your daughter.
Right.
Is that so awesome? I just love it.
And the woodworking group itself was recognized by a city employee that goes to our church.
Oh, that's right. Yes, tell that story.
And the city of Lakeland was one to incorporate the little free libraries. They're take a book, leave a book.
They're like stands that they put in different neighborhoods, right?
Right.
Okay.
So he wanted somebody that was what they call grassroots, local, to be a part of the builds of these little libraries, and also incorporate that way the community leaders can be involved in it, because
Yes.
the city of Lakeland was giving out sweat equity grants for communities, but they had to be involved.
Equity grants.
It just means they had to be involved.
Gotcha.
So now the city of Lakeland is paying for these little libraries, and they used a group that from the small group from the church
Yes.
as a home or as a base for building these little libraries for the community. So it actually gives the group opportunity to do community outreach.
Yes.
And
that is so amazing.
And it's bringing basically reading out into the communities.
Yes.
And so right now we got a couple. We got 3 of them in elementary schools, and it's doing that.
So it's an ongoing project. You keep
Yes,
building and putting them in the community.
Right.
Do you have one here?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
So that's so awesome. So what else? Anything? As we wrap up, what do you want to say?
I want to say that even though most of the time we feel stuck in our life, we're stuck in the problems that we were facing. The devil comes at us in ways that are just custom fit to what our weaknesses are. And the fact of the matter is, it don't matter what it is. The Lord has already defeated the devil.
Right.
All the devil has to do is try to make us believe otherwise. But there ain't nothing that the Lord can't pull you out of. Nothing. He's been doing it for a very long time. He's very good at it. He's very faithful.
Yes.
And if he can pull me out of death and pull me out of my addiction, then I mean it goes to show that anybody who's facing the same issues,
Right.
the Lord will. He
Yeah.
will pull you out of it. You guys, it does take work on your behalf, though. He's not going to force you to do nothing.
Right.
But you do have to move.
You have a will.
It don't matter if you're looking death right in the eyes. It doesn't matter how far you think that you've taken it. That you've taken it. Some people feel like they've crossed over the point of no return. God is God of restoration.
Yes,
I mean, He rebuilds families, He rebuilds lives, He gives peace, happiness, and it does take a little work. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
The Bible does nowhere in the Bible does it say it's going to be easy.
Right.
Matter of fact, John 16:33 tells us, "In this world, I tell you, so this in me will have peace. In this world, you will have tribulation.
Yes.
But take heart, I have
I've overcome the world. Yes.
And it's that's one of the ones I stood on for a while. Anytime the devil tries to come out and say, just lie about who you are and where you're at and what's going on, just keep knowing that Jesus has already whooped him.
And it doesn't matter where you are in your Christian walk, the enemy's there. I mean, he talks to me as well as you, or just a person that's been in the faith a long time, but he's always there.
The Bible makes it very clear that the devil is going to attack.
Yeah.
But the Bible gives us a way out of it.
Yes.
He doesn't tell us that.
So what does Revelation say? We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony.
That's right.
The word of our testimony. Oh, that is so good. Thank you, Tim. And by the way, Tim does take custom orders for wood projects. So you can just contact me if you're interested. He has beautiful work, and you have a booth at the flea market in Auburndale. Is that right? So, yay! Thank you for joining us. Just know that we serve a good God.
Good God.
And He is faithful, as we've heard through Tim's testimony, that He can do anything. So we're grateful. So bless you guys, and we will see you next time. Have a great day.